From lying about singing to not being invited to birthday parties, here's our list of evil lies celebrities told that cost them everything. Now, people had been praying for Ellen DeGeneres' downfall for years, and what really kicked it off was when actor Dakota Johnson put Ellen in her place. You see, in 2019, Dakota was on an episode of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, and while being interviewed, Ellen insisted that Dakota didn't invite her to her birthday party, and she threw some major shade. Now, without hesitating, Dakota shut down this false claim by giving us the iconic line of, "Actually no, that's not the truth, Ellen." Dakota went on to explain that the last time she was on Ellen's show, Ellen gave her a hard time about not inviting her last year, so she made sure that she did this year. Dakota then advised Ellen to ask her producer about her invitation, stating, "I did invite you and you didn't come. Ask everybody," before turning to Ellen's producers for backup. Now, the producers actually confirmed that the host had indeed been invited to the bash, but had chosen not to attend. Now, it was just plain awkward and weird, but honestly, it also was iconic. Now, this was just the little thing that people needed to tear down Ellen completely, and more of her bad behavior and being horrible to her employees all came out. Now, it seems like Dakota was ahead of her time with calling the star out. Music duo Milli Vanilli were sensations who were adored by many, but it all came crashing down when they appeared on Club MTV package tour lip-syncing pre-recorded tracks. Now, during a Connecticut show, the tape jammed, "Girl You Know It's, Girl You Know It's, Girl You Know It's" blared from the speakers while the duo danced for a moment before fleeing the stage. Now, it was revealed that the duo were lip-syncing. Now, if this isn't embarrassing enough, this prompted doubts regarding the duo's authenticity, and after their album was released in America, the singer Charles Shaw revealed that it was him on the album, not the group Milli Vanilli. Now, the duo eventually admitted to being frauds and subsequently appeared at a press conference to return their Grammy Award for Best New Artist. The duo then resurfaced in 1993 as Rob and Fab with a self-titled album full of their real singing voices, but according to Milli Vanilli's Behind the Music, they only sold 2,000 copies. In a controversial Saturday Night Live performance on Halloween night 1981, punk band Fear performed. Now, they decided to bring a busload of fans with them, which they did not discuss with the producers. Now, when they performed, the band and its fans started to essentially destroy the stage. The broadcast was actually cut off before their last song, after one of the fans they brought screamed, "New York sucks" into the mic. The fans bust in also reportedly threw a pumpkin into the chest of SNL producer Dick Urbansall. Later, a report in the New York Post would go on to claim that the band Fear caused $200,000 worth of damage to the SNL studio that night, allegedly destroying the green room, a mini-cam camera, 2 viewers, and a viewing room. Members of the audience recalled how the performance became a total out-of-control free-for-all as fans jumped up and started slam-bang dancing, which was described as a new punk craze that involves dancing, biting, and kicking. Yeah. The report continued that producer Dick Ebersol tried to usher the groupies into the green room, hoping to calm them down, but instead they wrecked it. The article also included quotes from an unnamed NBC technician who said, "I've been in this business for years and I've never seen anything like this. This was a life-threatening situation. They went crazy. It's amazing no one passed away." Yeah, safe to say they were not welcomed back to SNL at all. Now, J-Lo is a performer, not really a singer. I mean, J-Lo claims she performs and sings live, but that isn't always the case. In November of 2021, she was slammed by music fans for allegedly lip-syncing during her American Music Awards performance as she took the stage to carry out her brand new song, "On My Way, Marry Me." An angry viewer ranted, "Come on with the overproduced singing, this commercial sounds exactly like her live vocals just did." A commenter pointed out, "Now why are you lip syncing? You have a great voice, just sing the song." Now, this isn't the first time this has happened though, as in 2014 she was caught lip syncing her performance of "I Love Ya Poppy" on American Idol. And again, fans were not happy about this. But should we really even be shocked? I mean, J-Lo doesn't even sing her own songs in the studio versions. Now, for example, her song Play is sung by AM to PM singer Christina Milian. Christina wrote the song and she sings Play's entire chorus. Ashanti has also lent her voice to J-Lo, playing it off as her own. In fact, you can hear her singing on Ain't It Fun and I'm Real. Ashanti spoke about this in 2014 and said, "I wrote Ain't It Funny. I demoed the record for her before I was signed and they kept my hook and some of the background and ad-libs and stuff like that. It was bittersweet because I was really excited that it was J-Lo, but I was so mad at not being able to have the record for herself," she said. Shauna Harrell is also alleged to be responsible for some of the vocals in If You Had My Love, and Makeba Riddick apparently is the voice behind All I Have. Now, the chorus from her song Jenny from the Block was rumored to have been sung by Natasha Ramos, who demoed the song. Now, in fact, Natasha addressed the claims in 2019, tweeting, "J-Lo did indeed go in the studio and lay down some background vocals over mine. So I wouldn't say she's so much lip syncing, however the backgrounds are predominantly me and some ad-libs and laughs are as well." When fans found this out, they called out J-Lo for lying and branded the music industry trash and insisting that Jennifer should not be famous for work she never did. But Natasha then stood up for the star. She wrote, "Well, that's a little harsh. J-Lo is one of the hardest working women in business. In my opinion, she certainly deserves all her success. I just deserved more from that project too. That's on the label though, not Jennifer. It's all kind of history at this point, lol." But J-Lo has also been accused of straight up stealing songs from other artists. Now, one of the stars who accused her of doing this was Usher in 2015. He claimed that she stole a song that he cast aside while recording his hugely successful album called Confessions. Usher claimed that J-Lo's single Get Right is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song he co-wrote the year before, which was only available online. He said, "I hate it, but I better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect J-Lo to just take it." Now, besides all of that, it's been revealed that J-Lo is a cheater. Now, Jennifer and Ben Affleck had an on-again, off-again romance that has been going on since the 2000s, with fans even nicknaming the couple Benifer. Now, they just got divorced this year. It was a huge thing, but the timeline of their relationship in general is a huge red flag and included alleged cheating.
You guys know the actor and comedian Steve Martin, right? Well, he used to do a routine that went like this. You too can be a millionaire. It's easy. First, get $1 million. If you put that routine between hardcovers, you'd have a book called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's a self-help manifesto that basically says in a nutshell, what you think about, you bring about. The book's central premise, the law of attraction, is that positive thinking is the route to obtaining what you want in life, while negative thoughts will cause bad events to occur. I'll be honest with you, I read it years ago, and I won't share my opinions on it too much, but like anything, I did find some good and some bad. Well, there was a big controversy surrounding Oprah about it back in 2006 because it was the subject of 2 episodes on the Oprah Winfrey Show featuring a dream team of self-help gurus, all of whom contributed to the project. At the time, Oprah wasn't just endorsing it, she championed it, putting herself right in the middle of it all, and made it a prominent theme not only in her life, but it was all over her website, and she would reference it in many moments on her show and in interviews. Her involvement actually helped the book sell more than 2 million copies, which put it ahead of the new Harry Potter book at the time on the Amazon bestseller list. These 2 episodes, however, caused a lot of issues and controversy because Oprah's producers received a letter from one viewer named Kim Tinkham, who had received a breast cancer diagnosis shortly after the show aired. They were alarmed by how far she had taken this advice and inspiration. Now, Tinkham wrote that she had decided to forego chemotherapy, instead choosing to follow the book's advice literally. The public got wind of this and went into a frenzy, saying that Oprah had promoted cult-like behavior and unrealistic expectations that could be extremely dangerous to a lot of people's lives. Now, Oprah brought Tinkham back on the show to set her straight and urged her not to ignore all the advantages of medical science. Tinkham, who went on to follow another New Age regime laid out in a book called The pH Miracle, actually passed away in December of 2010. Ultimately, Oprah stood by her position that, the law of attraction can affect positive change. The problem is, though, is that there have been many incidents similar to Kim's. Like, a lot of consumers took this advice very seriously, and it had a lot of negative impact on their lives. So not so good. And because of all the backlash, Oprah has tried to keep this incident a secret for years and has since removed both episodes on her channel and website to try and keep the whole debacle under wraps. Next, I want to talk about Oprah's Maui scandal. Now, Oprah has a special connection to the island of Maui, Hawaii. In 2002, she purchased a 23-acre estate, which she has used as a private retreat and vacation home. Must be nice. Oprah's Maui estate, which she named The Farm, features a luxurious main house, guest cottages, a private movie theater, and beautifully landscaped gardens. Now, over the years, Oprah has shared glimpses of her home with her fans through different media outlets. Now, in a response to the 2023 Hawaii wildfires, Oprah and Dwayne Johnson, better known as The Rock, teamed up to support the Maui community. They created the People's Fund of Maui.
Every dollar that you send that goes directly to the people.
They both pledged $10 million to establish the fund, which aimed to provide financial assistance to affected Maui residents. Now, when Oprah and The Rock both contributed their initial $10 million payment to the fund, they also invited the public to contribute their own donations for the rest of it. When it launched, critics began questioning why the two celebs didn't just fund it entirely themselves, especially given their wealth and net worth, and some people have said that we should just be grateful to have help at all, and that nobody, including celebrities, are obligated to help or give money to anything. But the big controversy and issue that many people have is how wealthy Americans have taken over large portions of Hawaiian real estate, even while native Hawaiians struggle to even receive land promised to be returned to them from the US government. People are on a 40-year-old waiting list for a home that the US government stole from natives over a century ago. And during the big fires in Maui, residents fleeing the carnage of the flames were held up at the gates of Oprah's very large fenced property. She was not staying at the vacation home at the time and opened up upon learning of the tragedy, but residents felt a certain way, knowing they had to contact authorities to get permission to cross onto the completely fenced private property. Like, yes, her property is that big that people needed to go through it to escape the fires, so let that sink in. People were also quick to point out that as a literal billionaire, she could afford to rebuild everything, including house, feed all the homeless people that are in Hawaii, and one social media user commented saying she's worth $3 billion. She could do all that stuff for people and still be a billionaire. With another person saying she asked other people for money with the whole, we know it's tough out there, so anything you can afford. Between Oprah and The Rock, they really shouldn't have needed to ask the public. I'm sure both of them could have given just as much without even noticing. One person even made a tweet that said, you guys make more in a day than I'll make in my lifetime. Another good point that someone also called out was asking why they are asking regular folk for money when they literally have millionaire and billionaire friends who collectively could quite literally take care of it all. A funny comment towards Oprah and The Rock was a TikToker that said, hey guys, I think you posted this to social media by mistake. This needs to be sent directly to your friends. And on the real, honestly, I see no lies told, because why are you, a millionaire, asking us, the public, to contribute to this fund when most of us are lucky to afford like an iced venti macchiato once a week? Like, go ask Dr. Phil or Kevin Hart.
And in 2004, Ashley Simpson was on the rise, and she was the musical act on Saturday Night Live that June. But her SNL performance did not go as planned. She performed her hit single Pieces of Me and it went well, but she then returned to the stage stage to perform her next song when the vocals for the previous song began playing while her mic was down at her side. Yes, it was revealed that she was lip syncing. She then did an awkward jig on stage and later blamed the band during the closing credits. She said, "I feel so bad, my band started playing the wrong song. I didn't know what to do, so I thought I'd do a hoedown. I'm sorry, live TV." Now, it was just plain awkward, and her blaming her band was not the right move at all. Now, her career never recovered as she was booed at her Orange Bowl performance in 2005, and her next 2 albums failed. Now, if you're gonna lip sync, please learn to lip sync properly. Oprah had quite a controversy when it came to her book club and the author James Frey. Now, back in the day, Oprah had a book club where she would promote a book on her show and usually have the author on for an interview. Now, this would result in the book going on the best-selling list, and Oprah added James Frey's book A Million Little Pieces to the reading list, and in October 2005, James then appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show to promote his book, which the talk show host had previously said she couldn't put down, calling it a gut-wrenching memoir that is raw and it's so real. Now, when James was promoting the books on talk shows or other media outlets, it was referred to as a memoir. But large parts of the stories were later found out to be exaggerated or fabricated, sparking a media controversy. Now, this was discovered after an investigation conducted by the Smoking Gun. They determined that James had actually fictionalized some of the story, so he was caught lying. And the fact that Oprah promoted it was not a good look at all. Now, controversy arose more after Oprah initially defended the book, but she later confronted James on her show in January 2006. Now, Oprah began the live program by telling him, "It is difficult for me to talk to you because I feel really duped, but more importantly, I feel that you betrayed millions of readers." James then admitted to Oprah that he had altered and embellished details of his story, including the fact that he had been in jail for just several hours, not 87 days, as stated in the book. Now, Oprah then also confronted the publisher of A Million Little Pieces, saying her staff had been contacted about possible inaccuracies in the book, only to be told that the publishing company stood by James's story as a work of non-fiction. Now, everyone was upset with James, and it left a lot of Oprah's viewers angry as they bought the book to support him. Now, it seems like Oprah is always at the scene of the crime, as during a 2002 appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, Brandy, who was 6 months pregnant at the time, claimed that she'd recently gotten married. But then when she visited Oprah again in 2014, she admitted that she was never actually legally married to her child's father, but she lied because she was worried about being judged and felt like having a child out of wedlock would ruin her career. She said at the time, being pregnant out of wedlock was not a trend, it was not something that people praised, it was a sin, and I felt I could not be honest about that. I felt the pressure of having to be perfect. I thought that everything I had worked hard for was threatened, she said. And finally, Jussie Smollett was an up-and-coming actor, but he ruined it all for himself when he pretended to be a victim of a crime. In early 2019, Chicago police said they were investigating a hate crime against Jussie. Now, it was a huge story and he was getting so much support and sympathy, and then he actually did an interview on Good Morning America about him being attacked, and he suggested the alleged attackers were white, saying, "If I had said the attacker was a Muslim or Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot much more." Then, speaking through tears, he said that gay people should learn to fight these kinds of attacks, and while many people felt bad for him, it turned out that this was more of a performance for him, as police discovered that the incident was staged and Jussie paid 2 attackers to commit the crime. Now, he was then indicted on 6 counts of lying to the Chicago police as well as disorderly conduct. He made up the story because he was unhappy with his salary and thought that a bit of publicity would help. Now, clearly that didn't work out because he was then fired, but this is just a crazy story that ruined him, and it was honestly all his fault.
Since being recently accused alongside Sean Diddy Combs, Jay Z is trying to distance himself from the rapper by claiming they were never friends. Alright, so Jay Z's lawyer is making the claim that Jay Z has had nothing to do with Diddy's case. Technically, he isn't denying that the rappers knew each other. What he's saying is that they weren't like the bestest friends in the world, but more just like work colleagues. The exact words to describe the relationship were, "They knew each other professionally for a number of years. Just like in all professions, people know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction." People expected Jay Z to deny any involvement with the case. It's a serious accusation that would ruin his life if he is found guilty. However, the fact that Jay Z's lawyer is saying that the men were not friends has people baffled. I mean, no one really knows what goes on in celebrity lives behind closed doors, but the men haven't exactly been impartial when they interact with and talk about each other. The pair have known each other over 2 decades, going on 3. They met in the 90s when they were featured on each other's tracks, but I guess music artists do that all the time without being or staying friends. So I guess moving on from that, to get us all on the same page about the severity of this situation and what exactly Jay-Z is being accused of, let's take it back to the year 2000, the same year where Jay-Z was spotted at Diddy's 4th of July party. It's the night of the MTV VMAs, so it's early September. The lawsuit accusing Jay-Z and Diddy is centered around this night. It alleged that Diddy and an unnamed additional male celebrity harmed the plaintiff, who has been going by Jane Doe, inappropriately, while another, also unnamed female celebrity, watched. The plaintiff's recount of the night was, she attempted to sneak into Radio City Music Hall for the VMAs when she was younger. After a failed attempt, she ran into Diddy's driver. The driver told her to come back after the show. When she did, he drove her to a large white house with a gated U-shaped driveway. The plaintiff claims that when she entered the home, she was presented with a non-disclosure agreement and asked to sign. Once inside, she recounts that there was widespread use of substances, and when handed a beverage, they were also in there. In a bid to find somewhere safe to rest, the plaintiff claims she entered an empty bedroom, and it wasn't long after she entered that the trio of celebrities allegedly followed. It was then that the multiple transgressions happened, ultimately halting when the plaintiff struck Diddy in the neck. She was able to eventually escape the house and return home, but the night left its mark. The lawsuit claims that the plaintiff fell into a deep depression, which continues to affect every facet of her life. Diddy was the first of the trio to be named. The plaintiff's representation apparently contacted the unnamed male celebrity to try and come to an agreement behind closed doors, but when that was clearly not possible, they attached their name to the lawsuit officially, and the unnamed male celebrity was revealed to be Jay Z. Both Jay Z and Diddy continue to assert their innocence, and Jay Z was allegedly seen at that party referenced in the suit, but again, it's unclear if he was actually the one in the room. As the new century began, Jay Z and Diddy were spotted out many times together, but Jay Z's lawyer once again did say that people in the same profession will of course support each other, even if they are not the closest friends in the world, especially if they're working towards the same thing, which Diddy and Jay Z were. Rap music wasn't always the cool and respected genre of music that it is today. Every individual win was a win for everyone in the community and something to be celebrated. This wasn't the only time the pair worked together for a greater goal. In 2005, they made a joint donation of $1 million to support those affected by the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina. They also performed at the hip-hop festival Scream Fest in 2007, which also happens to be the event where Diddy allegedly smacked Jay-Z on the behind. For anyone wildly confused about that seemingly random statement, there was video footage circulating from this festival that looks like Diddy is smacking Jay-Z's backside. Because the video was taken in 2007, it's pretty pixely, but you can make out one person coming into contact with another. 50 Cent actually reposted this video to his social medias recently, featuring a caption with the words, "I ain't never been with it." The post has been deleted, but screenshots of it exist. 50 Cent has been trolling Diddy and Jay-Z online for months. There was the video featuring the festival Behind Smack from November 2023, but then back in May of 2024, shortly after the first accusations against Diddy came out, 50 Cent posted an unflattering image of Jay-Z to his Instagram, claiming that Jay-Z was going to hibernate until everything with Diddy blew over. It referenced the fact that Jay-Z had kind of distanced himself from Diddy and was staying silent on everything, despite the pair being seen together so many times over the decades. A famous quote about their friendship actually came from a conversation about a photo taken of the pair at Diddy's birthday in 2009. A photo of Diddy and Jay-Z chatting made it into the Rock and Roll of Hip Hop exhibition. Jay-Z flew out for the party and then had to fly back immediately after because he was on tour, which is something you do for work acquaintances that you are not close friends with. You also tell people how much you value their friendship and appreciate big gestures like that, because that's what Diddy said he was talking to Jay-Z about in that very picture.